People ask me sometimes, how did you meet him? Was it love at first sight? Was it destiny? They want a fairy tale. They want to hear about fireworks and instant knowing. But life is not a movie. Life is quieter than that. Love, real love, it does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it stands in the rain so you do not get wet. That is the story I want to tell you. Not a legend about spirits or magic, but a story about a man, a woman, and a summer storm. Look at this picture here, the black and white one. The edges are yellowed. That is Ivan. He is standing next to the tractor. He is wearing those heavy boots and the cap pulled low over his eyes. He looks serious, does he not? Some people might say he looks stern, but I know that look. It is not sternness, it is quietness. He was a man of few words, always was. When we first met, I thought maybe he was boring. I was young, maybe 20 years old. In those days, a girl wanted a boy who would dance with her all night, who would tell her jokes, who would sing songs under her window. Ivan did not do any of those things. He just worked. He was a tractor driver, come to our village for the harvest season. He was not from around here. He was from the next district, over the hill. I remember the first time I saw him. It was at the club. Do you know the village club? It is a simple building made of wood with a large hall for dancing. On Saturday nights, the whole village would gather there. The women would put on their best dresses, the ones with the bright flowers, and we would do our hair. The men would wear their clean shirts and comb their hair with water. The air inside would smell of cheap perfume, tobacco, and warm bodies. The accordion player would sit in the corner, and the music would start. It was loud and lively. Everyone was laughing, spinning around, having fun. I was there with my friends. We were sitting on the bench near the wall, watching the boys. We were judging them, like girls do. He is too tall. He dances too weird. He smells like onions. And then I saw Ivan. He was not dancing. He was standing near the door, holding a glass of soda water. He was watching the others, but he was not part of it. He looked lonely, I thought, or maybe proud. My friend nudged me. "Who is that?" she asked. "I don't know," I said. "He's the tractor driver, the seasonal worker." I looked at him and I felt nothing. No spark, no excitement. He was too quiet. I liked boys who talked too much. I thought silence meant there was nothing inside. I was wrong. I was so young and so wrong. I didn't think about him again for a few weeks. The harvest was busy. Everyone was working from sunrise until sunset. The fields were gold with wheat, and the machines were roaring all day. I was working in the fields too, gathering the stalks, tying them into bundles. My back would ache, and my hands would be covered in dust. But we were young, so we sang while we worked. We competed to see who could tie the fastest. Ivan was there too, driving the big green tractor. I would see him in the distance. He was good at his job. The lines he plowed were straight as an arrow. The other drivers would talk and smoke during the breaks, but Ivan would check his engine. He would wipe the grease off the wheels. He cared for his machine like it was a living thing. I noticed that, but I didn't say anything. I just went back to my bundles of wheat. Then came that day, the day everything changed. It was late July. The air was heavy, sticky. You could feel the storm coming before you saw the clouds. The birds stopped singing, the leaves on the trees turned over, showing their pale undersides. We were finishing up work near the edge of the village. I was walking home alone. My friends had gone ahead because they wanted to stop at the store. I was tired. I just wanted to get home, wash the dust off my face, and sit in the cool shade of the porch. I didn't have an umbrella. Who carries an umbrella in the summer? You don't expect rain when the sun is shining so hard. But the sky turned dark very quickly. It became greenish-gray like a bruise. The wind picked up, blowing my skirt around my legs. The first drop hit my cheek. It was cold. Then another. Then the sky opened up. It was not just rain, it was a wall of water. I started to run, but the road was far, and there was no shelter. The dirt path turned to mud instantly. My shoes were slipping. I was getting soaked through. My hair was plastered to my head. I felt miserable. I thought, why did I walk alone? Why did I not wait? I was running past the machine yard where the tractors were parked for the night. There was a small shed there, used for storing tools. I thought maybe I could wait there until the rain slowed down. I ran toward the shed, shivering. The rain was so loud I couldn't hear my own footsteps. When I got to the shed, I saw someone was already there. It was Ivan. He was standing under the roof, shaking the water off his cap. He saw me coming. I stopped, unsure if I should join him. We were not friends. We barely knew each other's names. He looked at me. I was dripping wet. I was cold. I was probably not looking very beautiful. He didn't say hello. He didn't make a joke about the weather. He just looked at my hands, empty at my sides. Then he looked at his own hand. He was holding an umbrella. It was a large, black men's umbrella, not very stylish, but strong. He stepped toward me. I thought he was going to move over to make space, but he didn't. He held out the umbrella. "Take it," he said. Just 2 words, "Take it." I was surprised. "What about you?" I asked. The rain was pounding on the roof of the shed, loud as drums. "I will run," he said. "My house is close, just behind the hill. You have farther to go." I hesitated. It was not proper, you know? A girl taking a man's umbrella? What would people say? But I was so cold. My teeth were chattering. I took the umbrella. It was warm from his hand. "Thank you," I whispered. He nodded. Then he pulled his cap down tight, stepped out from the shelter, and ran into the storm. I stood there for a second, watching him. He didn't run slowly. He ran fast, head down, protecting his eyes from the wind. The water was splashing up around his boots. He disappeared into the gray curtain of rain. I was left standing there with the umbrella. It was dry on the inside. It smelled like tobacco and oil, his smell. I opened it and walked home. The walk was different now. I was dry, I was warm, but my heart was wet with something else. I kept thinking about him running. He didn't know me well. He didn't expect anything from me. He just saw that I needed help, and he gave it. He gave me his protection, and he took the discomfort for himself. When I got home, my mother asked, "Where did you get that umbrella?"
But you
I
never
told her the
understanding in
story.
and tussa break that
She
to these
listened
only
quietly.
family support to the
She
saint
was a
and you know
wise
is the
woman.
saint here.
She said, "Remember this day. A man who gives you his umbrella in the rain is a man who will give you his coat in the winter." I did not understand fully then, but I kept the umbrella. I dried it carefully. I put it in the corner by the door. The next day, I went to return it. I walked to the house where the seasonal workers were staying. It was a small wooden cottage near the fields. I knocked on the door. Ivan opened it. He looked surprised to see me. I held out the umbrella. "Here," I said. "Thank you again." He took it. "Did it work?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "It kept me dry." He smiled. It was the first time I saw him smile. It was a small smile, just at the corners of his eyes, but it changed his whole face. It made him look younger. "Would you like some tea?" he asked. I was just boiling the kettle. I said yes. We sat at his small table. We drank tea from glasses and metal holders. He did not talk much, but he listened. He asked me about my work. He asked about my family. He did not try to impress me. He did not boast about his strength or his money. He just was there, present. When I left, I walked home feeling light. The sun was out again. The puddles were reflecting the sky. I knew then. I did not need the boy who danced all night. I needed the man who ran in the rain. We started seeing each other after that. It was not a wild romance. We walked along the river. We sat on the bench near the club. But we did not go inside to dance. We talked about simple things. The harvest, the weather, the future. He told me he wanted to stay. He liked our village. He liked the land. He said the soil here was good. He said the people were hardworking. I think he meant he liked me, but he did not know how to say it. So he said it about the soil. That was Ivan. We got married in the autumn after the harvest was done. It was a simple wedding. Not many guests. Just family and close friends. We did not have a big feast. We did not go on a honeymoon. We started working immediately.
He found a permanent job at the collective farm. I continued working in the garden and at the local office. We bought this house. It was smaller then. We had to fix the roof. We had to paint the walls. We did it together. He would climb up on the ladder, and I would hand him the nails. We built this life brick by brick, day by day. People say the first year of marriage is the hardest. Maybe it was. We were learning how to live together. He was quiet, and I was sometimes loud. I would get worried about things, and he would tell me not to worry. It will be okay, he would say. We have hands. We have health. It will be okay. And he was right. When the children came, life became harder but also fuller. We had 2 sons. They were noisy boys. They broke things. They ran in the mud. Ivan was a good father. He taught them how to fix the tractor. He taught them how to plant potatoes in straight lines. He taught them that if you promise something, you must do it. I remember one winter, it was very cold. The heating system in the house broke. It was January. The wind was howling outside. The children were small. I was worried they would get sick. Ivan did not panic. He took the stove apart. He worked all night to fix the pipes. His hands were frozen. He came inside only to warm them by the fire for a minute, then went back out. In the morning, the house was warm. He slept for 2 hours and then went to work. He never complained. That was the umbrella again. He was protecting us from the cold, just like he protected me from the rain. 40 years. Can you imagine? 40 years of waking up next to the same person. Some days were hard. There were times when we were tired, times when we were angry. There were times when the money was tight and we had to count every coin. There were times when the health was not good, but we never stopped being a team. We never forgot that we were on the same side. In the village, neighbors can be difficult. There are disputes about fences. There are gossip about who did what. But inside our house, it was our world. We protected each other. Now, look at this photo again. He is older here. His hair is gray. His face has more lines. But the eyes are the same. That quiet look. He passed away 3 years ago. The house is quiet now. Sometimes too quiet. The tractor is sold. The fields are managed by someone else. But I am still here. I still cook. I still look out the window. And I still remember the rain. I am making varenyky today. Dumplings. It was his favorite dish. He loved them with sour cream and fried onions. The smell is filling the kitchen now. It smells like dough and boiling water. It smells like home. When I make them, I think of his hands. He would sit at this table and help me fold them. His big, rough hands were surprisingly gentle with the dough. He would make them perfect, all the same size. I try to make them like he did, but mine are not as uniform. He would laugh and say, "They taste the same, Maria. Do not worry." I look out the window now. The garden is green. The tomatoes are ripening. The chickens are pecking at the ground. Life goes on. It does not stop because we are sad. The sun rises. The seasons change. The children come to visit with their own children. My grandchildren run in this yard. They are loud. They do not know the silence of the past. But I tell them stories. I tell them about the grandfather who ran in the rain. I tell them that love is not about big words. It is about what you do when it is difficult. One of my grandsons asked me recently, "Grandma, how do you know if you love someone?" I thought about this question for a long time. I looked at my hands. I looked at the photo album. I told him, "You know you love someone when you are willing to get wet for them." He did not understand fully. He is too young. But maybe one day he will meet a girl in the rain. Maybe he will have an umbrella. Maybe he will give it away. And then he will understand.
I remember the sound of the rain on the shed roof. I remember the smell of the wet earth. I remember the feeling of the umbrella handle in my hand. But I do not remember the anger I felt when I was running before I met him. I do not remember the cold. I only remember the warmth of the gesture. That is what stays. The kindness stays. The pain fades, but the kindness remains like a stone in the river, smooth and solid. Sometimes in the evening I sit on the porch. I watch the sky. If I see clouds gathering, I do not feel fear. I do not feel anxiety. I feel a sense of peace, because I know that rain is just water. It washes the dust off the leaves. It makes the grass grow. And if it comes, I have an umbrella, or I have a memory of one, and that is enough. People in this city, they live fast. They meet people on phones. They date for a few months and move on. They look for perfection. They look for someone who says the right things. But here, we know that words are wind, actions are roots. You need roots to survive the winter. Ivan was my root. He was the ground I stood on. When the wind blew, I did not fall, because he was holding me down, not with force, but with presence. I miss him, I will not lie. I miss the sound of his boots in the hallway. I miss the way he cleared his throat in the morning. I miss the way he would check the lock on the gate before bed. But I am not lonely, because he is in this house. He is in the way I cook the varenyky. He is in the way I lock the gate. He is in the way I treat the neighbors. I carry him with me. We are still a team. So when you look at this photo, do not just see a man standing by a tractor. See the man who ran in the rain. See the man who fixed the pipes in the winter. See the man who folded dumplings with care. That is the story. It is not exciting for everyone. There are no car chases. There are no grand declarations. But it is real. It is solid. It is 40 years of mornings and evenings. It is a life built on respect. The dough is ready now. I need to roll it out. The flour is on the table, white like snow. I will make a big batch. I will freeze some for the winter. I will give some to the neighbors. Mrs. Olina next door, she likes them. Even though we argued about the fence last year, I will give her dumplings, because that is what Ivan would do. He would say, "Feed them, Maria. Hungry people are angry people. Full people are kind people." He was right about that too. The sun press set now. The kitchen is dim. I need to turn on the light. The switch clicks and the room is warm again. I look at the photo one more time before I close the album. "Good night, Ivan," I say softly. I do not expect an answer, but I feel a sense of presence, like he is in the room, checking the locks, making sure everything is safe. This is my life. It is simple. It is rural. It is ordinary. But to me, it is everything. It is the rain. It is the umbrella. It is the love that survives the seasons. And if I could go back, if I could stand on that road again when the sky turned green, I would do it all the same. I would run in the dust. I would meet him in the shed. I would take the umbrella, and I would walk home dry, knowing that I was safe. That is the secret, I think. We spend so much time looking for happiness in big things, in money, in fame, in travel. But happiness is often hiding in a small shed during a storm. It is hiding in a glass of tea. It is hiding in a quiet man who gives you his only protection. Do not overlook the quiet ones. Do not overlook the simple gestures. They are the ones that hold the roof up when the wind blows. I will finish cooking now. The water is boiling. The dumplings are waiting. Life waits for no one, but it also provides everything we need if we look closely. Thank you for listening to an old woman's story. It is good to remember. It keeps the past alive. And as long as I remember the rain, he is not really gone. He is just outside, waiting for the storm to pass, ready to walk me home. The album is closed now. The cover is dark in the shadow. But I know what is inside. I know the history. I know the truth. And tomorrow I will wake up. I will feed the chickens. I will check the gate. I will look at the sky. And if it rains, I will smile. Because I know how to handle the rain. I learned from the best. This is the story of how I met my husband. Not a fairy tale, just a true story. And truth is better than a fairy tale.
Because a fairy tale ends with they lived happily ever after, and then the book closes. But real life continues. It has chapters of sadness and chapters of joy. But the story goes on. And love is the thread that stitches the pages together. My thread was strong. It did not break. And even now, it holds. So let the rain come. Let the wind blow. We are ready. We have the umbrella. We have the memory. We have the love. And that is enough for a lifetime. More than enough. It is everything. The pot is simmering. The smell of onions is frying in the pan. I will add the sour cream soon. It will be ready for dinner. Maybe my son will come by. Maybe I will eat alone. It does not matter. The meal is made with love. And that is the most important ingredient. Ivan taught me that too. You cook with your hands, but you serve with your heart. I wipe the table now. The flour dust is gone. The album is put away in the drawer. The kitchen is tidy. I am tired, but it is a good tired. The tired of a day well spent. The tired of a life well lived. I turn off the light. The moon is coming up. I can see it through the window. It is bright tonight. It lights up the path to the gate. I will check the lock one last time. Just like he taught me. Just like I have done for 40 years. Good night, village. Good night, memory. Good night, love. Tomorrow is another day. And I will be here. Ready.